can't believe it. Home prices have gone down, but I still can't afford to buy. I'm retired. No mortgage. Yet my insurance costs are now higher than my old loan. The house next door has been on the market for 3 months. Nobody has even come to look. These voices are no longer rare in Florida. They have become a serious warning for anyone who once believed the Florida dream was safe. But 2025 is proving the opposite. Even the most famous, most desirable cities in Florida are stepping into a housing earthquake. In today's video, top 10 Florida cities where the housing market will crash in 2025. I'll take you through 10 names with the deepest cracks, where prices are plunging, where buyers are vanishing, where ownership costs are exploding, and the harsh truth hides behind for sale signs. If you're living in Florida, thinking about retiring here, or considering an investment property, you need to watch until the end, because what's really happening may shock you. And by then, it could be too late. The city you live in, or dream of buying in, may be on this list. 10. Jacksonville. When even those who paid off their homes are forced to leave, you don't need a mortgage to lose your home. In Jacksonville, all you need is to live long enough, and the crushing weight of insurance, taxes, and hidden costs will push you out. Florida's largest city once promised retirees everything: close to the beach, affordable homes, a diverse community. But now, it's a symbol of crisis. The median home price in Jacksonville has dropped more than 6.2% in 12 months. It may not sound like much, but the real fear? Unsold inventory is surging. Listings have jumped nearly 30%. Many homes sit forgotten for 90 days or more. Sellers are piling up. Buyers are disappearing. A setup for a long slide in property values. The bigger shock lies behind closed doors. Average home insurance has climbed past $3,000 a year, almost double in just 3 years. Near the coast or in flood zones, even higher. HOA fees once felt small. Now they crush families. $600 a month in many neighborhoods. Add property taxes tied to peak values, and owners feel like they're renting their own homes, even after paying them off years ago. For young buyers, this is discouraging enough. But for the 50-plus community, it's devastating. Retirement incomes can't keep up. Healthcare is harder to access. Public services are strained, and fear spreads through once peaceful streets. Jacksonville isn't alone, but it's leading a dark trend. Prices falling slowly, costs rising quickly, market confidence collapsing. When even mortgage-free owners are forced to run, that's not a signal. That's a warning. And this is only the beginning. Have you thought about buying in Jacksonville? Or are you already living here, feeling the pressure rise each month? Share your thoughts below. And don't forget, like and subscribe, so you won't miss the other Florida cities entering the danger zone of the 2025 housing market. 9. Cape Coral. When a riverfront paradise turns into a ticking financial bomb, Cape Coral was once seen as the dream within Florida. Endless canals, waterfront homes, a relaxed lifestyle, and prices far more reasonable than other coastal cities. But that very irresistible charm planted the seeds of a crisis few noticed, until everything began to explode. From 2020 to 2022, home prices in Cape Coral surged nearly 60%. Money poured in from the Northeast and California. Investors and retirees rushed to buy, driving prices so high that in areas like Southwest 39th or Old Burnt Store Road, not a single home was left under $450,000. But by mid-2024, reality struck back. Prices had dropped 8 to 10%, and many new homes now sit unsold for months. The reason? Flood insurance is a big part of it. Cape Coral has one of the densest canal systems in America, which means flood risk is sky high. After a decade of strong hurricanes, insurance costs exploded. From $1,800 a year to more than $4,200 for waterfront properties. And it's not just new buyers who are afraid. Longtime residents say they're facing a double collapse. Home values falling, but maintenance, insurance, and taxes soaring. The housing market here has nearly frozen. Many homes slash prices 2 to 3 times just to attract a single offer. Small investors are bailing out, even selling at a loss to cut losses early. Cape Coral is no longer the safe choice it once was. And at this pace, without serious reform in insurance policy and flood planning, this so-called riverfront paradise could become the next domino to fall in Florida's 2025 housing crisis. 8. St. Petersburg. When the sun can't shine on negative numbers, St. Petersburg was once called one of Florida's best places to live. Year-round sunshine, close to Tampa Bay, a thriving art scene, an educated community. But those very advantages can no longer hide the harsh reality. St. Pete is now a victim of its own success. From 2019 to 2022, home prices jumped nearly 70%. Floods of newcomers from high-tax states pushed demand sky-high. Old bungalows in Kenwood or North Central shot up to $500,000, $600,000. New homes near the beach, over $1 million. But the question is, where is the real value? By 2024, the market began to wobble. According to Realtor.com, housing inventory in St. Petersburg rose 40% year over year. Transactions fell nearly 30%. Many new listings had to slash prices 5–10% just to get a look. Buyers no longer chase the buy now or lose out hype. They're staring hard at financial burdens. And the biggest burden? Still insurance and taxes. For coastal or newly mapped flood zones, insurance runs $6,000, $7,500 a year. Add property taxes based on peak COVID prices, and middle-class families are draining savings or borrowing just to stay afloat. Neighborhoods like Snell Isle and Coquina Key, once dream destinations, now stand as sharp reminders of the gap between home prices and real affordability. And St. Petersburg has lost its shine for retirees too. Living costs have soared. Congestion and overdevelopment eat away at peace of mind. That proud label of 361 days of sunshine a year, it can't erase the truth. Sunlight no longer drives away the shadows of cost and instability. 7. Fort Lauderdale. When a retirement paradise becomes a financial trap, if you're living in Fort Lauderdale, no one needs to tell you more. The pain is right there. In your insurance bill, in your property tax statement, in the long silence from potential buyers. This was once the dream destination for thousands of American retirees. But in 2025, the cost of keeping the Florida dream alive in Fort Lauderdale has gone beyond what many can bear. Home prices here have already started to adjust, down about 2.7% compared to last year. But the problem isn't falling prices. The problem is the skyrocketing cost of holding on to the home you already own. Average insurance for a $300,000 home now exceeds $10,000 a year, a shocking number for retirees living on fixed income. And with natural disaster risks rising, that number won't stop here. Selling a home can take more than 110 days. Sellers want out, but buyers are indifferent or waiting for prices to fall further. They're no longer afraid of missing out, because now the opportunity is in their hands. With inventory rising fast and demand falling, Fort Lauderdale is no longer a hot market. The worst part is the feeling of being trapped. You own a home, but you can't escape. Sell, and you take a loss. Keep it, and every month is a burden. Many older residents are renting out spare rooms or seriously considering fire sales just to lift the weight of financial pressure. Even institutional investors, once hungry for Fort Lauderdale homes as long-term assets, are pulling back. That's a clear sign that confidence in Fort Lauderdale is fading. Not just from residents, but from the big investors too. 6. Naples. When a luxury retirement paradise turns into a red alert zone, no fancy introduction, no soft words. Now is the time to face the cold reality in Naples, one of Florida's most high-end cities, a place where prices aren't frightening because they're high, but because they're falling fast. While ownership costs keep climbing, Naples was once the dream of retirees: calm seas, polite communities, luxury homes, a comfortable lifestyle. But because everything here is expensive, housing, taxes, insurance, when the market turned, Naples became one of the most dangerous places of all. Condo prices have already dropped 2.7% since the start of the year. Homes once listed at $1.3 million now forced below $1 million. Some even at $950,000. This is no healthy correction. It's a signal. Demand is gone. Confidence is cracked. Inventory has surged to a record 14 months. For a luxury market, that number is alarming. It means too many want to sell, and far too few are willing to buy. Transactions reflect it clearly, down more than 21% in just 12 months. The higher the price, the harder it is to sell. Ownership costs won't spare Naples either. Taxes and insurance keep rising, even without heavy disaster damage. For the 50-plus community, living on fixed budgets, this is a long-term pressure eating away the financial freedom they once had. Some are renting out parts of their homes. Others are doubling up to cut costs. But the most serious cases, those who want to sell and retreat, but their homes sit on the market for 3 to 4 months with no offers, prices must be slashed. The feeling of being stuck grows stronger. Are you living in Naples, or once thought this was a safe retirement paradise? Share your story in the comments, because many people may need to hear it. And if this information is useful, don't forget to like and subscribe, so you'll keep receiving early warnings before the market changes too fast to react. 5. Orlando. When the entertainment capital sinks into a real estate swamp, no long introduction needed. Orlando is slipping away from the safe position people once trusted. For those over 50 who dreamed of retirement in warm sunshine and year-round festivals, this city is now sending a chilling warning. Falling home values, rising living costs, and a housing market stuck in a liquidity crisis. For years, Orlando was seen as Florida's golden shield of real estate. But in early 2025, the downward trend in home prices became undeniable. Nearly 3% down in 12 months. It may not shock you at first glance. But combine it with rising inventory and double the selling time, and the truth is clear. The market is cooling. Buyers are cautious, and confidence in stability is gone. Reality is even harsher for retirees. Many once chose Orlando for its affordability, for its lively atmosphere. But now they're trapped in a spiral of rising costs. Home insurance climbing out of control. Property taxes still reflecting inflated values from the past, while real value slips quarter by quarter. Even utility bills, once considered minor, are now a true burden for those living on fixed income. Tourism was supposed to be the cushion, but the post-pandemic shock weakened its power. Airbnb isn't easy to rent out anymore. International visitors aren't flooding in like before, and many properties that once generated strong cash flow now sit empty or are sold at a loss. Investors are pulling out, residents are anxious, and the market is left in a state of clinical death. Orlando shows us this. Even cities painted with lights and dreams can collapse quietly. For anyone who thought this was the perfect place to retire in peace, now is the time to stay sharper than ever. Because a beautiful home in a tourist paradise means nothing if it becomes a financial weight on every breath of your later years. 4. West Palm Beach. When coastal glamour hides a market in decline, West Palm Beach was once the symbol of luxury and the charm of coastal living. But by 2025, behind the bright sun and the glamorous shopping streets lies a cold reality. The housing market here is sliding quietly downhill. Built on 3 pillars of Florida's real estate red zone: overpriced homes, exploding ownership costs, and vanishing buyers. According to August 2025 data, median home prices in West Palm Beach have fallen 4.1% year over year. That marks the second straight year of decline after a decade of explosive growth. It may not sound huge, but pair it with a 38% inventory surge in just 6 months, and the picture is clear. Buyers have stopped. Homes are sitting untouched. The most severe blow? Insurance. Home insurance near the coast has risen over 65% since 2022. Average premiums now hit $6,400 a year, an impossible number for those living on Social Security or pensions. Some homeowners are even denied coverage completely, labeled high risk due to waterfront locations and worsening climate threats. Add property taxes, already above the state average, and many residents are being forced out of what they once called their retirement haven. And if you think West Palm Beach still attracts demand, think again. Transactions are down more than 27% year over year. Meanwhile, delisted properties, homes pulled off the market unsold, are up 15%. West Palm Beach isn't collapsing with a loud crash. It's sliding quietly, eating away savings, dreams, and hope. Beautiful homes that won't sell. Ownership costs too heavy to bear, and a market stripped of the vibrancy it once had. 3. The Villages. The retirement kingdom is losing its security. The Villages was once the symbol of the perfect retirement dream, a place designed for peace of mind and carefree golden years. But in 2025, this very place is sending out a worrying signal. Home values are shaking, and relentless construction is pushing the market into a severe imbalance. Look at the reality. Housing inventory in the Villages has risen nearly 45% since the start of the year, far above Florida's state average. In a place that once had steady demand from retirees, this rapid growth in supply is a clear warning sign. An oversupply of homes, especially when successful transactions have dropped 18% in just 6 months. Prices haven't collapsed yet, but they've stalled. And by Q2 2025, a slight downward adjustment began. Some segments, especially single-family homes and smaller villas under $400,000, are already cutting prices to attract buyers. The reason? Older homeowners eager to exit early, protecting finances and avoiding being trapped in a long downturn. What makes this worse is the pace of development by the Morse family, the main developer at the Villages. Even as buyers slow down, they keep adding new subdivisions. That creates internal competition, more pressure on pricing, and longer time on the market. Many residents say the Villages is expanding far beyond real demand, and they're not wrong. On costs, not as high as coastal areas, but property taxes here still rose 6.3% in the past year, a heavy hit for fixed incomes. HOA fees have also crept up, as maintenance costs for amenities rise. For seniors living alone or those who don't use all the facilities, these are unnecessary costs that still weigh on them. The Villages isn't collapsing, but it's overcrowded, oversaturated, and slowly losing the assurance it once promised. Those who dreamed of a perfect final chapter now have to ask, is this still the place to come, or is it the place to leave while there's still time? 2. Punta Gorda, a small city, a big pain. Punta Gorda isn't a flashy name for those who only know Florida from a tourist map. But for people seeking a peaceful retirement, it was once a hidden gem. Calm, affordable, with open space and low housing costs. Yet those very features have become burdens as the market slides into decline. From Q4 2024 until now, median home prices in Punta Gorda have dropped nearly 6.2%, a steeper fall than in larger cities, not because quality of life worsened, but because buyers disappeared, while sellers grew desperate. Housing inventory has surged more than 70% in just 9 months. The market here is choking on empty liquidity. Its reliance on retirees and snowbirds from the north makes it more fragile than ever. Many seniors are pulling back, fearing natural disasters, insurance hikes, and rising healthcare costs. Even those who bought earlier are dumping homes, not wanting to carry costs for properties they use too little and earn too little from. Insurance in Punta Gorda, especially waterfront zones, has soared 35 to 50% since 2023, after FEMA reevaluated flood risks. Between insurance and taxes, many homeowners now spend $7,000, $9,000 a year. Impossible to sustain if they only live there for a few months. Short-term rentals can't save it either. Airbnb occupancy has dropped over 18% in a year. Tourists are choosing cheaper, more convenient destinations. That leaves many small investors forced to sell at a loss, dragging prices down further. Punta Gorda, once praised as Florida's golden secret, is now proof that no place is truly safe. Small city, big market pain, and a clear warning to the whole state. If even the fringe markets are buckling, then the crash is no longer a question of if, only a question of when. 1. Daytona Beach. When cheap becomes a dangerous trap, you think only expensive places are risky? Think again. Because the city falling the fastest is the very one once seen as easiest to buy, easiest to live. Daytona Beach. Here, everything seemed simple. And that was the danger. Retirees flocked here for low prices. Small investors rushed in, believing this was Florida's last bargain. But 2025 has proved the opposite. Low price does not mean safe. In the past 12 months, home values here have dropped an average of 5.8%. And according to local experts, this trend is far from over. Homes under $300,000, once the hottest segment, now flood the market. Many sit for 90 days unsold. This drop is hitting the very sector once considered the city's most stable, low-end housing. Why? Beyond a weak local economy, Daytona Beach faces a quiet exodus, even from those who once thought it would be their final stop. The reasons: healthcare infrastructure can't keep up. Crime in some neighborhoods is ticking up. And most of all, the cost of owning a home is no longer cheap. Insurance premiums have skyrocketed. After new risk assessments by insurers, some coastal zones in Daytona now face premiums of $4,500 at $6,000 a year, double what they were before the pandemic. That's forcing many retirees, even those settled here for years, to consider selling fast just to avoid long-term financial strain. On top of that, the rental market is sliding too. Tourists are turning to other destinations, like Tampa or Sarasota. Airbnb occupancy is down nearly 20%, Small investors are bailing out, adding more downward pressure on prices. Daytona Beach, once thought to be the lifeline for those priced out of expensive cities, is now the symbol of the cost of a false sense of security. In real estate, nothing is more dangerous than thinking you're safe. The Florida dream is cracking, not in some distant future, but right now. From high-end retirement havens to so-called cheap safe zones, home values are falling, ownership costs are exploding, and financial anxiety is spreading everywhere. If you're considering buying, selling, or holding property in Florida, stay sharp, stay proactive. Don't let glossy ads fool you. Don't let hesitation trap you in losses, and don't blindly believe that things will soon be fine. Because this market is shifting in ways we've never seen before. Are you living in one of these cities? Do you think the coming correction will cut even deeper? Share your thoughts below. I read every comment and reply personally. Because this isn't just a video. It's a place where we face reality together and make smarter decisions in these turbulent times. If you found this video helpful, hit like, subscribe, and turn on the bell. I'll keep bringing you clear, deep analysis. Made for you, who truly care about value and financial safety. Don't dream in the middle of the storm. Face it. Prepare for it. Because that is the only way to protect your dream.